Most people believe power comes from what they say. They believe the person who speaks the most, explains the most, and reveals the most is the one who controls the conversation. But human nature has always operated differently. Throughout history, the most powerful individuals were rarely the loudest people in the room. Kings, strategists, and masters of influence understood a principle that most people overlook. Words reveal, but silence conceals, and what remains concealed becomes powerful. The moment you explain everything, reveal every thought, and constantly seek to be understood, you remove the mystery that creates fascination. Think about the people who occupy your mind the longest. They are rarely the ones who constantly talk about themselves. They are often the ones who leave questions unanswered, the ones who reveal themselves slowly, the ones who make you wonder what they are truly thinking. This is because the human mind dislikes uncertainty. When information is missing, the mind automatically works to fill the gap. It creates stories, assumptions, and curiosity. In many cases, people become more interested in what remains unsaid than in what is openly revealed. Around men, many women unknowingly surrender their power by over-explaining, oversharing, and constantly seeking reassurance. They believe transparency creates attraction, but attraction is often born from anticipation. The woman who says less does not become invisible, she becomes intriguing. And in a world where everyone is desperately trying to be noticed, silence becomes one of the rarest and most powerful forms of influence. Because the less you reveal, the more space you leave for his imagination to work. And imagination has always been stronger than reality. One of the most common ways people lose power is through a habit they rarely notice: explaining too much. When a woman constantly justifies her decisions, explains her feelings in excessive detail, or feels the need to defend every action, she unknowingly places herself in a weaker position. What begins as a desire to be understood often becomes a subtle form of seeking approval. The person who feels compelled to explain everything signals uncertainty. The person who remains calm and comfortable with being misunderstood projects confidence. Think about it. When someone cancels plans and immediately provides a long explanation, they often appear anxious about how they will be perceived. But when a person simply says, "I won't be able to make it," and leaves it there, they communicate something very different. They show that they trust their own decision without needing validation. This principle becomes especially important in relationships. Many women make the mistake of revealing every emotion the moment they feel it. They explain why they are upset, why they are worried, why they reacted a certain way, and why they need reassurance. While honesty has its place, constant explanation can remove the sense of emotional strength that naturally attracts respect. The more you rush to explain yourself, the more you teach others that your choices require their approval. Power comes from knowing that they do not. The strongest presence is often the person who speaks clearly, says only what is necessary, and remains comfortable with silence afterward. Because confidence is not measured by how much you say, it is measured by how little you need to explain. One of the most powerful observations is that people are naturally attracted to what they cannot completely possess or fully understand. The moment everything becomes predictable, curiosity begins to fade. The mind stops searching because it believes there is nothing left to discover. This is why mystery has always been one of the most powerful forces in human attraction. Most women are taught that closeness requires revealing everything immediately. They share every thought, every plan, and every emotion in an effort to create connection. While openness can build trust, revealing too much too quickly often removes the very element that keeps someone's attention engaged. Human psychology thrives on discovery. Think about a book whose entire ending is revealed in the first chapter. No matter how interesting it may be, much of the excitement disappears. Relationships often work in a similar way. People become invested when there are layers still waiting to be uncovered. Mystery does not mean playing games or being dishonest. It means allowing parts of your personality, ambitions, and inner world to unfold gradually. It means resisting the urge to reveal everything at once, simply to gain approval or attention. When a man feels that there is always something new to learn about you, his curiosity remains active. His mind continues to return to you because the story feels unfinished. The most memorable women are rarely the loudest or the most revealing. They are often the ones who maintain a sense of depth, the ones who understand that value grows when access is earned, not freely given. Because what is completely known may be appreciated, but what remains slightly mysterious is often remembered, pursued, and desired far longer. There is a type of woman that many men find impossible to forget. It is not always the most beautiful woman. It is not necessarily the loudest, the most outgoing, or the one constantly demanding attention. In many cases, it is the woman who understands the power of restraint. She does not feel the need to fill every silence with conversation. She does not constantly reveal her emotions or seek validation through endless communication. Instead, she allows space to exist, and that space becomes powerful. Most people assume that being remembered requires constant presence. They believe that the more messages they send, the more attention they give, and the more available they become, the more important they will appear. But the human mind often works differently. People rarely obsess over what is always available. They become fascinated by what leaves an impression and then disappears. What creates curiosity? What leaves a question unanswered? The silent woman understands this instinctively. When she speaks, her words carry weight because they are not wasted. When she shares something personal, it feels valuable because she does not reveal everything at once. Her presence feels significant because it is not constantly being offered. As a result, people think about her long after the interaction ends. They wonder what she is doing. They replay conversations in their minds. They search for meaning in her words and actions because she has left room for interpretation. This is not manipulation. It is the natural effect of self-control. The person who constantly seeks attention is often forgotten quickly, but the woman who remains composed, selective, and comfortable with silence creates something far more powerful. She becomes unforgettable because she leaves behind curiosity. And curiosity is one of the strongest forces in human nature. Most people spend their lives chasing attention. They believe that being noticed is the same as being valued. They seek constant messages, constant reassurance, and constant confirmation that they matter. For a brief moment, attention can feel powerful, but attention is temporary. Respect lasts much longer. One of the most attractive qualities a person can possess is emotional control. Not because it makes them cold or distant, but because it demonstrates strength. It shows that their emotions do not control their decisions. Many people react immediately when they feel ignored, disappointed, or frustrated. They send emotional messages, demand explanations, or seek reassurance in moments of uncertainty. In doing so, they place their emotional state in someone else's hands. The emotionally controlled woman does something different. She feels emotions just as deeply as anyone else, but she does not allow temporary feelings to dictate her behavior. She understands that not every message requires an immediate response. Not every misunderstanding requires a confrontation. Not every moment of silence is a crisis. This creates a powerful effect. When a woman remains calm under pressure, she communicates confidence. She shows that her happiness does not depend on another person's constant attention. She values connection, but she does not depend on it for her sense of worth. People are naturally drawn to those who appear centered and secure. Emotional stability creates a sense of mystery and strength that endless attention-seeking never can. The person who constantly demands attention may be noticed for a moment. But the person who demonstrates emotional control earns something far more valuable: admiration, respect, and lasting attraction. Because true power is not found in controlling others, it is found in controlling yourself. One of the most powerful lessons in human nature is that silence is not weakness. Most people fear silence because they believe it makes them appear passive, uncertain, or powerless. As a result, they rush to speak. They explain themselves, reveal their intentions, and react to every situation immediately. But strategic silence operates differently. It is the ability to remain composed when others expect a reaction, the ability to withhold unnecessary information, the ability to observe before speaking, and to think before responding. This form of silence creates power because it shifts the balance of attention. While others are busy revealing themselves, the silent person gathers information. While others are reacting emotionally, the silent person remains in control. And in any social interaction, the person who controls their emotions often controls the situation. Strategic silence also increases perceived value. When words are used sparingly, they carry greater weight. People listen more carefully because they know every statement has purpose. In contrast, constant talking often causes people to overlook what is being said. This principle becomes especially important in relationships. Many individuals feel compelled to explain every feeling, defend every decision, and respond to every emotional trigger. But the more you react, the more predictable you become. And predictability often weakens influence. The person who masters strategic silence understands that not every thought needs to be spoken, and not every challenge requires an immediate response. Sometimes the strongest answer is patience. Sometimes the strongest statement is no statement at all. Because silence creates space for observation, reflection, and self-control. And those who possess self-control possess a form of power that cannot be easily challenged. In a world filled with noise, the person who knows when to remain silent often becomes the person others remember most. Most people spend their lives trying to be remembered by doing more. They speak more, share more, explain more, and reveal more. They believe that the more information they provide, the stronger the connection they create. Yet human psychology often produces the opposite result. People rarely become fascinated by what is completely exposed. They become fascinated by what still contains depth, what still holds mystery, what still invites discovery. This is why some individuals leave a lasting impression without making much effort. They do not constantly seek attention. They do not feel compelled to reveal every thought or emotion. They allow parts of themselves to remain private, creating a sense that there is always more beneath the surface. When you reveal everything immediately, you remove the opportunity for curiosity to grow. But when you reveal yourself gradually, every interaction becomes a new discovery. People remain interested because they feel there is still something left to learn. This does not mean becoming distant, cold, or secretive. It means understanding the value of boundaries. It means recognizing that your thoughts, plans, emotions, and ambitions do not need to be shared with everyone the moment they appear. The most unforgettable people are often those who possess quiet confidence. They are comfortable with silence, comfortable with privacy, comfortable with allowing others to earn deeper access to their world. As a result, their presence feels valuable, their words carry weight, and their absence is noticed. In the end, power is not created by how much of yourself you give away. It is created by understanding what to reveal, when to reveal it, and what to keep for yourself. Because the less you desperately seek attention, the more naturally attention follows you. And the person who masters this balance becomes not only respected, but unforgettable.